Hi, my name's Shawn Taylor. That down there, that guy that's having like a coughing attack, maybe dying. It's okay. I know where he lives. I'll call 911. He's Chris Ford, aka the Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame.
I
And
bet that would get us good views.
that would, if we called 911 and, yeah,
Well,
how do
no,
you,
just me dying on the.
oh, you died.
People
Well,
will watch it just for
Chris,
curiosity.
funny you say that about how people dying equates to a piece of media being especially memorable or good. Pretty excited to dive into that with you here today because first we are talking about book 3, Legend of Korra Book 3 Change, chapter 12, which is called Enter the Void. And second of all, I'm going to try my best to keep my voice like an indoor voice. Tried to make my mic a little more sensitive this week to pick it up louder, but my in-laws are asleep right above me because we record in twos and threes. So I'm going to apologize on the front side if my voice and tone and such is odd. I hope it's not unbearable for everyone. But anyway, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing great. Besides this cough that I apparently have 2 weeks in a row now. No, I'm kidding. This
It's
we record the same.
we get when you get to next week, you'll be like, I've had this cough for a year.
Yeah, this cough is just with me now. Uh, no, doing great. Oh, so random thing. I have a new show that I like. It's called Ghost. It's on CBS.
Wait, just like
So
plain old CBS, like you turn on a TV,
I know,
not a
right?
smart
Like I
TV,
don't.
just a
One
regular
thing.
TV.
I know you're a fan of Big Bang Theory, but I tend to hold CBS comedies at like a very low ranking
That's
compared
fair.
to the other ones. Because I'm just like these comedies, like to me, they're not funny. Like they're and Big Bang Theory has its moments because I've watched Big Bang enough times and been entertained enough. But I feel like the other ones are just like you hear the laugh track and you're just like this isn't funny. Like you take this laugh track out and it's not like it's awkward. Like they make shows to please old people for the most part, which is why they have great ratings, right?
They're hitting the
Which
people that still turn the TV on and watch
yeah,
regular old CBS with their digital antenna in their attic that I definitely also have one of.
yeah. But Ghost is not like a live recorded. It's on single camera, whatever you call it, and it stars Rose McIver. I know her from iZombie. She's great on that show. It's a great show. But the premise is she can see ghosts, and they all live in this house, and like the premise just works for some reason, and I enjoy the show. Comes on every Thursday. You and Heather might enjoy watching it. Oh, it's just a good little watch. I enjoy it. It's not heavy at all. Although this episode was heavy. Like this episode made me tear up a little bit. This most recent one, which was weird, came out of nowhere. But
I can handle, as we have discovered, and as I try to grow into a regular human, I can handle Ted Lasso heavy, right? Because Ted
it's
Lasso's
not
a comedy, but Ted Lasso got a lot of emotions.
it's not even nearly as heavy as Ted Lasso.
So I can probably handle it. So if it's called Ghost, yeah, I can,
Yeah.
I can get on board with that. But hey, Chris, I have a confession to make. Actually, I wasn't gonna tell you at all because I'm embarrassed. But whatever. It's too late. Remember that time I told you that I was gonna start watching a Yu Yu Hakusho, and then I started watching Digimon instead. Chris, Digimon Adventure, the O2, the part two, like the actual second season, is a wildly underrated show, and I'll die on that hill. And
Of what show again?
Digimon. So there was like Digimon Adventure is like what you and I would remember from our childhood if you were into it at all, or at least what people would have been into around you if they were.
Yeah.
And then Digimon, and that's called Digimon Adventure. And then the next one, I don't even know if it's called like Digimon Adventure 2001 or Digimon Adventure 2. I honestly don't know. But the second iteration with Davis and the Armored Digivolve and TK is like a seventh grader.
I don't know these stupid names.
I Chris, it's great and I like it. And I think Davis is a wildly underappreciated protagonist because he's essentially just like a clown meat-headed kid, but he like learns and he grows, and I want to hate him but I can't because he's really charming and he always makes steps forward that make you really proud, and I love him. So but I'll put it down eventually because I hear that Digimon Tamers is bad, and then I'll watch Yu Yu Hakusho. I saw Digimon.
You should also watch Young Justice. It was a good one too.
I saw Digimon. I started watching this Digimon because I saw it on the way to Yu Yu Hakusho. Like I was there.
Uh,
Uh, it's like Hulu knows me. They just don't know how to play most recently watched episode that I'm actually on, but they know me pretty well, so that's good. Hulu, I hate you so much. You're the worst, stupidest UI, and I hate it. It's awful. Anyway, I'll watch it eventually, but not until we are done talking about these next couple of fabulous Legend of Korra episodes. Chris, would you care to walk us through Book 3
Oh,
Change, Chapter 12, Enter the Void?
all right. So previous episode they got the ultimatum. The ultimatum. Uh, um, Korra has to give herself up, and Zaheer will release the captured airbenders. So Korra is. They're all trying to figure out a plan. Like, all right, how can we do this? And like they're kind of arguing, going back and forth. But Lynn says something dumb,
Naturally.
and Korra's just like, listen, guys, the only way is that I give myself up. Like, and there's just a really great moment here of Korra being so selfless, and everyone's trying to not let her do that because they know once she gives herself up, Zaheer is he's going to kill her. Like they know that there's a big possibility of that she'll be killed, and she knows that. She's like, there's no other way around it. Like this is our only option. Like, and then they all have these like very somber like hugs and goodbyes. There's such a sense of finality to it that I really enjoyed. And of course, father's like, you know, people. I don't know if this was this episode or not. They have like kind of two goodbye moments. It's like people will speak about this for what you did for the air nomads for years to come. So just there's just some great Korra moments. Like these two episodes makes me like Korra has her haters. I'm like, how are you guys hating on Korra in like these two episodes alone? Korra should not have haters. Like she's so selfless in these. But anyway, so yeah, so Korra is willing to sacrifice herself. They kind of devise some backup plans. Like, all right, well, the thing is, the backup plans isn't like, all right, once we get the air nomads, we then rush in to save Korra. It's like, no, once Korra, once she once she gives herself up to Zaheer, and then Zaheer confirms that he's giving up the air nomads. No, that's communication. It's like, all right, then we swoop in and get the air nomads. There was no swoop in and get Korra. That really wasn't. It was. There really wasn't a backup plan. Like Korra was fully ready to give herself up. I mean, there was a little bit backup plan with Korra's dad, but that almost seemed like, all right, if Zaheer isn't up front with us, anyway, really, really good stuff there. And I have to cough, Shawn. So keep.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm just going to reiterate or revalidate what you just said. Of these are two choices that, like, if we like to compare because we like to compare, it's really fun to think of what Aang would or would not do in these situations. And it's probably a very similar answer, but even just saying that they're extremely similar answers is enough grounds that, like, how are you going to hate on Korra so much
Mm,
more than Aang? Like, even if the outcome is very much the same, that's validation for them not being treated so differently, I guess.
yeah. So they get to the plan is set in place. Um, Asami, Bolin, Mako are gonna go get the air nomads, while uh, Kuvira and Tanarok and Lin and the Metal Benders kind of help support Korra. And and one thing I love how technology is used here, like they have these big, bulky walkie-talkies, almost phones, and then so they go. Mako, Bolin, and Asami go to get save Tenzin, and then the air nomads, and then like it's so freaking creepy. Like the air nomads are like moving and stuff, and then you realize like, and then it's almost like the life has been sucked out of them. Because then Pelegius, not Pelegius. Meanwhile, just takes the water out, and you're like, holy crap, that's freaking creepy. Like she was just puppeteering all of them, even making them move like they weren't just static. She even made them like move and shift a little bit. She is just such a creepy villain.
What's the lady, the Bloodbender lady's name again?
Hana,
Has
Hama,
has
Hama,
some
Hama.
Hama, has some Hama vibes to it. Is that kind of puppet master creepy
Yeah, definitely.
in a very literal way?
Yeah. So then Mako uh, reaches out to him, says like it's a double cross. Says he didn't give us air no match. And then Korra fights him, but Korra in shackles, platinum shackles, finds Zaheer, and she holds her own. Like she's really holding her own. The fight choreography is just so good. Um, and then and then she kind of gets thrown off for a minute, and then her father comes in, catches her, and then there's a 2-on-1 situation, and I absolutely loved seeing Cora and her dad fight together. You don't really see often uh, parent parent child fighting dynamics, let alone father daughter fight dynamics, and they work in such unison. It's really cool to see because Korra is still chained, but they're still working in really unison. Like sometimes Korra attacks, and then like she shifts her body one way, and then the view is Tanarok right there, and then he attacks. It's so good.
It. I never really thought about it until you brought it up just now, but yeah, I'm having trouble thinking like what's another time where you get to see that kind of father-daughter dynamic
Yeah,
with violent fighting.
yeah. The only other in the Avatar universe, only other time I say see this, but he, hear this or read this is Heyron and Rangi. Uh, in the descriptions, it's like those two look like sisters the way they're fighting, and like they're so much in unison. I would just man
Even
hopefully one day see those two animated together.
Eska and Desna fighting with their dad, but it still has a way different vibe to it. Like they're very much more tied to each other than they are to their dad in their fighting style and dynamic.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and I mean we see a little bit of that. I think with Iroh and Zuko, there's one scene where they're fighting Earthbenders, and they're pretty good. They work well together, but like
You've
Korra,
already lost the father daughter, and I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it's just very unique.
Um, and then we have let's see here. Oh, Gazan pretty much burns down this temple. he Gazan's one thing I love about Gazan's bending is it's so freaking destructive. Like it's almost like no structure is safe. Like he tore down the walls of Bossing say in like mere minutes because lava is such a like
It
thing about
feels like
Earth
lava
is
would
very
be a fairly
strong.
slow burn, but just he's kind of amplified it.
Yeah, but it's kind of like just pulling a Jenga piece out of a wall, right? It's like, all right, if I just melt this piece, well, it all got to fall on somewhere.
We probably didn't even give that scene. It's been a couple weeks, but we probably didn't even give it as much credit as he deserves when he literally takes down the whole wall of the most
Yeah,
fortified city on the planet.
yeah. Also, I meant to say they really need to change the name of Bossing instead because like only because the first time three girls took it over, and just by like infiltrating it, and now just four people took it over. Like Bossing State just need to be renamed.
It it turns out it actually is fairly penetrable.
Yeah, you just can't come in with like an army. Just come in
No,
with like three people,
if you
10
get
people mats. You
right
can
under
do
the
it.
nose, absolutely, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
You got crowned Fire Lord princes walking around there serving tea and stuff. Like it's really not that hard to get by there.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, uh, let's see. Yeah, Kazan kind of burns down the whole place, and Bolin is so on this plot. There's so much going on in this episode. There's so much stuff happening. Um, which really they've done such a good job of weaving like three different
Yeah, this has got
fighting.
like a C plot even.
Yeah,
And
Uh,
also, I can't stress, I know I'd probably put too much stock into this, but just standard 30-minute episodes. That is, it's always more impressive to me when it feels like you can pack that in. Sorry, not even 30. What is it? Like 22. Um, it's always way more impressive to me when you can do that in that time slot rather than having
yeah,
the to be continued style.
yeah, definitely. Uh, so then like the lava's pretty much chasing them all around the place, and then Bullet figures out that he can lava bend, which I'm like, what was his plan there? But I do love that moment afterwards where like Michael's like, Bolin, you can lava bend. He's like,
I know.
yeah, I know.
I just
I
found
just
out.
found out. There's just a great line delivery
Like a sweet
from J.
innocence
Bryan
to
there.
his voice.
Yeah, also is a good misdirect because all throughout the season we're thinking like, all right, he's gonna learn how to metal bend, and he ends up doing something even more special and
Yeah,
more
it was a
rare.
really nice. It was a really nice, unexpected positive for Bolin. I think,
Yeah,
like even it's like I remembered, but I think they carried it out in a very pleasant surprise kind of way.
yeah. Let's see. So that's pretty much that plot line. Oh, wait, was Kai? Oh yeah, Kai was shot out that was last episode. Kai survived, and then Kai picks him up. Um, but then back to the metal benders versus police fight, and such a good fight. The thing I love most about this fight is just how well Suyin and Lin work together, and they get to a point where just they're just like there's like we're stuck. Like police so powerful, you can't even stay in her sight or she'll get you. Like she blasted so many benders off of the railings and stuff like that, or off the side, and 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 so much of this episode is about sacrifice. And Lynn, she's always been really willing to sacrifice herself. She did in book one. I love how she
For what
turns
she
to
feels is a righteous cause, which it usually is. But
yeah, yeah, exactly. I love how she turns to Suyin. She touches her gently on the face. It's like, I love you, Sue. Which is, and then it was that moment to me is so good. There's so many great character moments in this episode that is supported by so many of the action sequences. Like that's them coming to full circle on their arc almost. Like she even when they in the episode where they came to agreement on stuff like, all right, we'll be nice to each other. Lynn still wasn't like, I love you, sis, type of deal. But here, she has to be real. She has to be like I might die. Like before I die, I want to tell you that like I love you. Like really good character stuff there.
I was thinking about this in my head. Chris, you have sisters. I got three brothers and one sister. So I was, my youngest brother, I would consider the one who I would be the closest to. And so I was like, all right, well, Shawn, what would you do if you were in that situation? I was like, well, I think I wouldn't have any issue saying I love you. But instead of the gentle face touch, I was like, we would definitely do the meme with the 80s action, uh, uh, the guy who plays Apollo Creed and I think Dolph Lundgren or whatever, the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, ours would be like way cornier, and it would be something like that before I ran out into the line of fire. It would be much less touching.
I'll probably just say I wouldn't go for the gentle cheek touch. Just be like, hey,
Maybe like a
I love you.
shoulder, like a
Take
shoulder or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, shoulder's good.
That's a good brother sister move. Is a shoulder touch. The cheek thing.
Yeah.
That must be a sister thing. I don't know.
Or maybe they needed that because like you maybe need to do more because they were so
Making up for
distant
lost
beforehand. Yeah,
ground, kind of. Yeah, they got to do more to
yeah,
recover. I was
yeah.
just like, no, I'd do like an action movie, like an '80s action movie fist pump before I went running out there.
Love you, bro.
Love you,
Love you,
bro.
bro. Let's go. And then just
Yeah. Exactly. That is 100% how that would go
yeah,
down.
and then yeah, and then Lena's like, "Come give me your third eye, freak." And then man, the bending is so good. So the thing about so I watched this episode twice. because I tried to watch, put the commentary on. Really good commentary on these episodes because Mike and Brian are kind of just like reviewing it really, and they're giving props kind of all over to different people. Like I feel like in that was their first time watching it in some time because they're kind of just in all. They're like, just look at this. Like so and so did this work and this work and this work. Um, and so I was watching it speed it up because I just need to listen to the commentary. I don't need to really watch the episode. But it was really cool to watch the action be faster. Just an interesting like experiment. It's a little bit more action packed. So when like Lynn is fighting, like she's just like boom, boom, boom and stuff. I wouldn't want the show to change to be faster paced because I think part of part of its appeal is that it's very grounded and there's some realness to the bending. It's not like over exaggerated action. There's some real uh, natural movement to it. But you know,
I would definitely be, not that I'm comparing myself to Lynn in terms of talent, but I would definitely be the annoying distraction. And my brother would have to land the single shot. That would be more up his alley.
mm,
The kill
yeah,
shot. I'd be the distract. I'd run out there talking all kinds of trash.
yeah. So wait, great moment. So Lynn is kind of like beat. She's like laying down and police like ready to just kill her pretty much and she like does one breathe in and then it appears like Suyin come out of nowhere like comes out takes her armor off of her wraps it around police's head and all you hear is like it's a really good really cool
There's a
sound.
metallic thunk to it. It's a great.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's horrifying, really, but in a great way.
Yeah, like how do they get away with this on
There.
a
Okay,
Y7 kids show?
I thought about this a lot, Chris, and I think that it is the way that they did it is both horribly violently just terrifying, but also brilliant from a censorship standpoint because they don't show anybody dying, right? Like there's no gore. It's gory, but there's no gore. It's terrifying, but not for like a younger child wouldn't maybe necessarily put together just how awful, what a horrible way it would be to die. So I spent
Sure.
quite a bit of time thinking about it. I was like, that's got to be one of the most clever ways to violently murder somebody on a children's show. I can't think of a
Yeah,
better way
like
to send the same kind of message. This is
thing
a
is, you know her body is lying there headless. Like
yeah, mm-hmm. I just
like it's
what is I mean, are there even other like from similar like a similar genre of cartoons, so a similar target audience and stuff? It's like I just
Shawn,
can't come up with anything
I've
else
never seen
that's
I've never seen a Y7 show go this far.
this has got to be
Like
one of the most incredible kills in a non in I mean even in a lot of the other stuff I watch, but definitely maybe a top
I
kill
mean
in a kids
the
show that I can possibly think
I,
of.
I mean, and then also you have the murder suicide at the end of book one. To me, that's not as bad because to me, I could actually like I can make a theory that oh, Amon survived because it was kind of so far removed that I could make like the camera's like very far away from the boat, but I can make a theory that Amon survived because I mean Zuko survived that one explosion the pirates did, right?
But something
Um,
about that one feels like inherently less kind of violent, terrifying, or
I think
like
so too because it's just an explosion,
just it
right?
right and like
And it's a big
kids. Yeah.
explosion and it's a pretty broad explosion. But here we're like that helmet is so contained that we know that explosion only took place within this
If you take
confined
if you metal
area.
bend that helmet off, you're gonna find a pile of goop where there used to be a face or whatever. It's gonna be just no, Chris, this is gosh, I'm excited to talk about top series moments because this is gonna be up there for me in the entire series in the entire Avatar verse. This is gonna be
Yeah.
really high up there for me.
hmm so before this, Mons find Korra, and amazing. fight sequences. There's a moment there where like Tonrock, he's going for the kill. Like he has like a water spike and he just misses. Which this show is like you can tell when characters are going for kill. And then Zaheer's like, say hello to the Earth Queen for me. And then he like just completely bends him over. Like Zaheer was trying to kill him. Like and he just happens to get saved by Kuvira. Um which at that point in time, we didn't know who Kuvira was.
No, I
But
had
we're
no
like
idea.
they kept zooming in on Kuvira, just like, who is this person? Like
Well, let's make sure we
they
say
weren't being
this random guard's name very clearly.
yeah. And then she saves him and then he's like, thank you, officer. And then she's like, you can call me Kuvira. Like
She already put
camera's very close up. Okay,
she already put me
she'll be
down.
back.
Chris,
Yeah,
she went for the assertive. She's like, "You can call me
yeah,
Kavira. What questions do you have?"
yeah. You know what my thought was, and I'm glad they did not go this route. I felt a little bit of chemistry there. I was like, I hope they don't go down some path where he's gonna like
That's a
cheat on his
weird,
wife.
yeah. That's a weird deal.
I'm glad they didn't do. They wouldn't do. Like, why would you have that in the
That sounds
kids?
like some HBO stuff right there.
Yeah.
This Avatar
If
Studios we're talking about,
if
Chris.
if Korra's mom was dead, there would definitely be some chemistry there. But
I don't even care to explore that in hypothetical ships or anything.
thing is,
I'm not down with that.
Kuvira's not like that much older than Kuvira's probably about 5, maybe 5 years older than Korra. Maybe not even that much. Maybe like 4. They're pretty similar. So it'd be like a weird like replacing my mom with this younger
Okay, you say
girl.
weird because it's weird to us, but out there in the real world, it's probably like, all right. It's weird to
Anyway,
us because we're
back
normal.
back to the fight. The so Korra's like, no, dad, uh, and then she's still trying to fight off Zaheer, and then Zaheer hears that whatever that explosion is, and he looks like no, and then he only the cool thing is that he only allows himself like a slight second to grieve, and then he lays this like airbending move down the court, which just knocks the air out of her. Almost not like it's such a strong
It's a
impact.
blunt force from the air. It's very
Yeah,
interesting.
and
Did you
then
see? I'm really proud of my wordplay. Pali implodes. I was really excited about putting that down on
okay.
paper. I think I spelled Lahima wrong though. Is there a
I
G?
don't know.
I
It
don't know. I'll
looks.
have to look that
I
up.
believe there is a G. I
Oh,
think
maybe
that
I
might be
didn't.
right.
Anyway, I was really proud of my wordplay.
Oh, okay.
Implodes with an
Uh,
apostrophe.
then then just make sure you just sometimes I don't read these. Sometimes I just keep going. If I have the episode remembered very well, I tend not to
The
follow it that
notes
much.
are
But then you
scarcely helpful
no,
ever.
they are helpful, Shawn. But then you went out of your way to write. See what I did there?
I was
Just
hoping you would at least see that because it didn't have the bullet. I was like, maybe his eye will be attracted to the lack of consistency with the non-bullet. So I was trying to pull you in, but hopefully somebody else out there saw it already and got like half a chuckle, and that makes it fulfilling for me. A bad time to bring this up probably, and I know I'm not good at checking them all the time. Some people's comments on our videos are incredible, and I love them. There's a lot of things that are humorous, a lot of things that are maybe not meant to be humorous, but let's call it like amusing. We love your comments. Comment on our videos. We really appreciate all that. And I'm not good at reading them personally, but Chris always makes a point to like thumbs up them all the time, and I appreciate that. Chris, by the way.
yeah. In my defense, I get notifications for them. So thing is, so I would comment. Sometimes I comment on a random person. This one person commented on like my core versus Aang video. That gets the most comments because people are very adamant either way.
And it's like an
And
evergreen topic. Like people will
yeah,
always
yeah.
search Korra versus Aang.
And I replied to a person, and this person was like almost trying to belittle me. Like, you have time? Like, bro, you're still like responding to comments on a 2-year-old video. Like, almost like I don't have a life. I'm like, one thing, I get notifications about every comment, and
Hmm?
I just happen to have my phone on me. I was actually in the middle of working on my patio deck, and I just went to go change a podcast. And I started explaining everything just because I don't know. I just found that funny. And then this other person was like, it was like, dude, I like that like 2 years later, you're still reading on comments and hardened stuff, even people who comments
Yeah,
are rude to you and
that was
stuff
one of
like
the
that.
ones
Like
I
I respect
saw.
that.
Yeah, was like even stuff you disagree with, you're out here thumbs up in it and comment it back like 2 years later. That's beautiful,
Yeah.
and it pays
I
off
think
when
it's
you correctly pick cast members for live action series. It pays off
exactly.
sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, reading those comments, it does inspire, even comments that are like disagree with me or even rude to me. Like, it still inspires me to keep my YouTube channel going, even though I haven't really kept it going. I have really high ambitions in the future to start back up
It's just a
and do more
reminder that people
videos.
actually like watch and care, and that feels really validating.
Yeah,
Even if they're taking the
yeah,
time to be nasty, which is the vast minority. But like even those,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, whatever, they clicked on it, man. They took the time to leave a comment. What's that say about them? I don't know.
Exactly. Um, so where are we at? Oh, so really cool. It comes down to Su Yin and Lin Beifong, and Zaheer has the course body, and they're like, you're surrounded. Like, we're gonna like. Thing is, yeah, they're like, put the avatar down. You're surrounded. And all Zaheer, like Zaheer almost doesn't even recognize them. Like he's so detached from them. Like they're not even concerned to him. He just keeps wording to himself, which is really cool because he was wording this to himself before this fight scene took place. He was talking to Pali. Also, they had a nice little moment. But before they kept wording these chime to himself, just like empty yourself, enter the void, become the wind. Empty yourself, enter the void, become wind. And he keeps saying this, and then he's holding Korra. He just leaps off the back. And I remember when I first watched this, like I was like, "What the heck is happening? Like what's like?" It left
He gonna
me in
die?
suspense.
Yeah,
It left me in suspense for a second, and then the camera kind of pans down, and then pans up to him just
it's an
floating
up and
there.
over. Yeah,
And like I think I was shocked when this first happened. I was like, "Holy crap! He can legit fly. Like that's like he has the power of flight,
yeah.
which
He's
is
really not. I mean, it's an air bending move in a sense, but he's not bending. He's not doing the
yeah
martial artistry behind it. He just is like manipulating
he's
gravity
flying the
around it.
way that sky bison fly, right? Because when they're
The
flying, you
the
don't see
OG
them like
benders.
pushing exactly. Um, and Mike Bryan said like they've had this thought about the ultimate airbending move would be to become wind. Like they had this thought 12 years ago when they were making Avatar. But they just like they just didn't know how to apply it, or they just didn't know how to incorporate it really into the story. Like they had art of like Aang just like meditating and his meditating stance, just levitating in the way we see Zaheer levitate oftentimes. And they're just like, yeah, we just didn't know like where to go with it, essentially.
I think flight works. I think flight is just
Yeah, I'm
essentially.
glad they saved that because
It kind of has
it's a great power up.
a matrix feel to it in that when you think of flying, it's so easy to think of
Okay.
either flapping the wings or like a jet propulsion engine. But when I
Yeah.
think of it as like an ultimate airbending move, it's almost like sort of manipulating the air around them more than something mechanically powered or even powered by standard bending martial artistry. Has a has a there is no spoon feel to it.
Yeah. And then to me, that's where the episode essentially ends up, but they're actually like another 5 minutes, I think, of the episode. I think in my head, the episode always ends with Zaheer flying with Korra, and
It maybe
then
should have. That would have been sick.
and then uh and then Gazan sees him, and then he says like, "Oh, I guess he doesn't need a ride." Like to me, the episode always ends there, but it doesn't. It goes to Kai with Tenzin and all of
And
them just kind of regrouping together, and
so
Kai
they run
telling
into
them like,
Bolin and them,
yeah,
right, all in the same. Yeah,
and pretty much at that point they're just kind of getting their plan together. But it was good to see Tenzin like reconnect with that. There's just a little small moment that he comes kind of with Bison again. It's nice to see you. Like this moment, uh, it's a very small moment, but it just puts in perspective like this is a battle going on. Like we're in the middle of it. We got to regroup. We got to go get Korra. Like it's like you know, it just kind of it doesn't raise scales at all, the stakes at all or anything like that. It just kind of puts in perspective of what's happening.
yeah, it's a very nice sort of framing device leading into next episode, which is the finale, and
Yeah.
feels natural, doesn't feel awkward or anything. So even if it's a little sad that Zaheer's piece can't be the very last bit, because that would have been a really sick bit to end on, just like seeing him floating in the air and then flying away, and then like cut to credits. That'd have been sick. But such is life. Well, hey, let's get to some ratings.
Let's. Oh wait, am I still on mute?
No, you're good.
No, I'm not. All right.
Yep, you're solid.
Yes, let's get to some ratings. All right. Audiovisual at 10. What did it for me this episode really was the Korra in Tanrock fight versus Zaheer. Like Korra being shackled but still freaking holding her own was just great to see. And that just fighting in unison with her father. Um, just great stuff there. And I'm sure there was other great things animation wise, like with Bolin and such. But yeah, it's a 10. Story, I think so much of the story about Korra's sacrifice, um, this story is all about sacrifice. We have Korra sacrificed herself, Lynn later sacrificed herself, and then in a way we have Pali as a sacrifice, almost for Zaheer, for him to reach another level. So those three story elements, I think, were done so freaking well, and they're all so character driven that it gets a 10, 10. And then memorable. It's a very memorable episode. This is one to me. This is one of the best episodes in the series. So gets a 10.
Easy math right there. I like that.
Yeah.
Hey Chris, guess what? I've got a few tens to dole out myself, such as an audiovisual. There's a lot of different like backdrops, backgrounds. It's some of the Zucker's
Oh
best
yeah.
music work. They're all over the place. There's all sorts of action. There's everything. Everything in this episode, like microcosms of the best parts of the whole series. You can find most of them in here somewhere. Even humor, like literally everything. It does it great. And same thing with
Yeah.
the
The back.
stories. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Background. Honestly, background. Really good point on that. Like this temple. This is the same temple we saw in Avatar. It was the one where the Mechanist took over. In fact, there's that little walkway that Bolin and them go through. That was one that Fire Lord General guy was going through. But like you compare just these still images to each other, like Legend of Korra just took it up a whole nother level. And that's no shade on the original show. Like this is just what happens with time and progression and everything. Like they're better at this than they were 10 years prior.
I'm a little biased because it's maybe not necessarily a good thing, but I always just when it comes to animation in particular, knowing the work that goes with it, or not really understanding it myself, but starting to grasp over time that when they have just kind of a variety of settings all in the same episode, very different, unique settings, and I don't know, I just tend to appreciate that in Avatar episodes, which I'm sure people have noticed over time. And again, the Zuckerman's music is excellent throughout. It feels almost like blends into it in a very perfect way, but still memorable. Story.
Yeah,
Everything comes to a climax and a pinnacle here from I don't know, a couple of different story arcs and kind of cementing what makes Zaheer such a good villain. Like when he flies at the end, like you start to feel validated in his cause. Like, okay, first the airbending, is that a sign? Okay, now he's flying. Like it's like a slap in the face to air nomads, to the growing air nation. I don't. Everything comes to a great pinnacle here. Is great, and then obviously memorable. It's we're talking about a top, like a maybe top 5 or 10, universe moment for me, and the rest of the episode being as great as it is, it's an easy 10 all around. If you're good at math or bad at math, you probably guessed it's a 10 overall.
Ooh, that's a nice round number
That's a
there.
nice number right there. We don't dole those out very often, and we've got the documentation to prove it. So enter the void. 10 out of 10. Chris, I don't want to. Oh, skipping ahead too far. I don't want to sully the ending of our great episode with any nonsense or whatever. I'm just gonna say, hey, come back next week, and let's talk about the finale. They're not connected in a to be continued sense, but I don't know how in the heck you would ever watch episode 12 and then not just watch episode 13. I don't know why anyone would ever do that. So,
Yeah. Well, Mike and
um,
Brian definitely think of the last 2 or 3 episodes of each season sort of as a finale.
yeah, even if they aren't. But what I like about this one, and we'll talk about it more coincidentally next time too, is again, is it as big as it is, and as much as it impacts through the whole season and as the whole Korra universe, even the whole Korra series. That this episode has such it, but it's still just by itself. You could pluck this episode out, and even if you didn't understand anything else that's going on, you probably wouldn't appreciate it as much. But it just does so many things so really well, just kind of on its own merits, that I think that it would be very engaging to most people in its target audience. High praise, but hey, come back next week and see what we've got to say about the actual finale. And very excited to talk about that with you. And in the meantime, my name is Shawn Shaler. That's my friend down there, Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame. We are super excited to get to bring you the best of this season. I'll put all the contact stuff as always in the description. Thanks again for all the comments and likes on the videos and the audio only versions. We really appreciate all you guys' patronage to us. Very grateful for that. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.
No, man, I was way too fast on that.